The world is incredibly dishonest about the nature of hurt. People talk about getting over things as if pain were a common cold. It isn't. You don't get over pain. You absorb it or you carry it. My name is Rocco Carlisle. I've built businesses and watched them crumble. I've lost people who were supposed to be my bedrock. I've failed in ways that were both public and agonizing. I have watched pain either sharpen a person into a blade or quietly shrink them into a shadow. The difference was never raw strength. It was awareness. Pain doesn't give you a chance to prepare. It shows up as a loss, a breakup, a failure, or a goal that never materialized, and then it simply waits. If you are not careful, it begins reorganizing your life without your consent. Pain is not temporary. Most people tell themselves that pain will pass if they stay busy long enough. That is a comforting thought, but it is fundamentally wrong. Pain isn't a phase. It is a turning point. It marks the moment your old assumptions about how the world works stop functioning. Someone whose long-term business partnership ends in a betrayal. She thinks she can just move past it. But after a failure of that magnitude, you don't return to who you were before. You become someone new. The only real question is whether that new version of yourself is conscious and intentional or an accidental byproduct of your hurt. Why moving on usually fails. What people call moving on is often just a frantic pursuit of distraction. New relationships, new goals, more noise. But pain doesn't disappear just because it is ignored. It simply goes underground. A man who lost his beloved to another person might jump immediately into a new romance to kill the sting. Because he didn't give that pain a place to land, it finds one on its own, manifesting as deep-seated insecurity and a need to control his new partner. Unprocessed pain doesn't rest. It leaks into your decisions, your reactions, and your avoidance. The decisions pain makes quietly. Pain rarely shouts, it whispers. It tells you who not to trust, what risks to avoid, and how small to play so you don't feel that hurt again. I've seen incredibly capable people lower their standards, shrink their ambitions, or settle for a mediocre life. They didn't do this because they wanted to, but because pain quietly rewrote their sense of what was safe. If you find yourself saying no to opportunities that you used to crave, look closely. It might be your pain making the decision for you. Carrying pain versus becoming it. There is a vital difference between carrying pain and letting pain carry you. Carrying pain means acknowledging the weight without letting it dictate your entire identity. Becoming your pain means every choice you make, who you date, where you work, how you speak, runs through that original wound. Imagine someone who invested their life savings into what turned out to be a scam. Instead of learning to vet better, they might quietly rewrite their sense of what is safe and become terrified of taking any risk again. When pain becomes your reference point, your life narrows. You stop choosing what builds you and start choosing only what protects you. Why some people never recover. Some people don't recover not because they are weak, but because pain gives them a story that explains everything. I've seen a man whose injury from a risky adventure cost him his mobility, and uses that event as the reason he stopped expecting more from life. The story of the accident becomes a shield against the effort of reinventing himself. It explains why he didn't try, why he stayed in a bad situation. Pain becomes familiar, and eventually that familiarity becomes comfortable. That comfort quietly replaces your potential for growth. Structure is what saves you. You do not think your way out of deep pain. You build your way out. Pain needs structure, not analysis. You need routines, commitments, and physical movement. These daily anchors prevent pain from turning your life into total chaos. When someone loses a deeply loved one to cancer, they can't analyze their way out of the void. They stabilize their lives by building days that don't revolve around the loss, the specific work hours, the Tuesday night commitment. These anchors keep the house standing while the storm rages. Structure is the bank of the river that keeps the flood of pain from washing away your foundation. At the end of the day, pain will shape your life either way, but how you respond to it will quietly determine its size. Some people let pain narrow their world, while others let it deepen it. The difference isn't what happened to them. It is whether they allowed the pain to decide who they would become. Once you see that clearly, moving forward stops being a mystery and becomes an intentional act of will.